What's up YouTube? I'm Vaughn and this is the Gear channel where we discuss collectibles, hobbies, competitive games from tabletop to video games. And today we are testing with the new Battle Legend cards, and it's none other our Lamia and also the Shadow Lights. Now we have done a two card combo extender, but I really wanted to try out Lamia and see how it does so well, especially in our deck. So we're going to see exactly how beneficial it is in our deck and to see if we're going to keep it or not. If we do, yay. If not, it's all good. Alright, so before we begin, friendly reminder as always to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel a lot and I do really appreciate it. So if you're not familiar with Lamia, quite simple. When it's normal supposed summon, add a level 8 reptile monster from your deck to your hand. And if this card is balanced, target one reptile monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by card effects until the end of the next turn. You can only use each effect of Lamia once per turn. And then Shadow Light is target one dark monster you control. Supposed summon one light monster from your deck or extra deck with the same original type level. You can banish this card from your graveyard during your main phase. This turn, you can normal summon one light or dark monster in additional to your normal summon set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can only use each effect of Shadow Light once per turn. You cannot conduct the battle phase the turn you activate either of this card's effects. So decent restriction, but really good for going first. Okay, so let's get into it. Alright, so we're going to normal summon Lamia, use the effect, add Eartherion Empress, which is quite good. Now we're going to use Shadow Light to spell summon or a Nunu, and then we're going to overlay both of them for King of the Pharaoh Imp. Use King of the Pharaoh Imp to go and add a Naya. Now we're going to activate Naya's effect to go and send Curse, and then once we send Curse, we're going to go and activate it to tribute the King of the Pharaoh Imp. Then Curse is going to spell summon the Naya, and then Naya is going to add the Water Lily. Seems pretty good. Now we could use Nunu's effect since we control an Ogdoadic, spell summon it, and make another King of the Pharaoh Imp. And this time we're going to go and add the Zora since we already have a Nunu, and we also did use Nunu's Grave effect, so there's no point of adding it just to send it. So now we could go and spell summon Ethereon. So we're going to go and just equip it with a Lamia. It doesn't really matter what we're going to equip, unless if it's Zora in the graveyard, then it does matter, because if your opponent decides to interrupt you, at least you could go and activate Zora's effect from the spell zone from the grave. Yeah. Zombie Vampire with the Curse and the Ethereon to go and send 4. Okay, so decent. So now we could start our Dragon engine since we milled the Dragon, and then we get our Knights with Serpent. So now we're going to go and link that for a Striker Dragon, and then use Striker Dragon to go and add the Boot Sector launch. Now we had two options: make Romulus now or wait. So I decided to wait. So we're going to need a Dragon in hand in case if we make Saruja and we don't draw into a Dragon, at least we have one for a precaution. So we're going to be doing that. So we're turning that. Now we're going to use Shadow Light for our additional normal summon to summon our Zora, and now we're going to go and link for a Saruja. So now we have Zora in our graveyard all ready to be played with Water Lily. So now Saruja is going to draw 4. Alright, so we're going to put a few back, and we are all set. So we have our 3 over there. So our Boot Sector Lawns, it was a Yugioh, and then it was Armageddon Knight. So now we're going to go and use Flogos to send the Curse, the King, just so we could have King in the graveyard. Use Saruja effect, then use Ab's effect to spell summon since we control a rocket. And then we're going to go and link that for Pitsy. Use Pitsy to go and spell summon. And now we're going to go and just link those two to make a ROM. And then it's going to be ROM Chainlink 2 and then Ab's Chainlink 1. So we're going to trigger both, add those. So look at that, we're plussing. Alright, next we're going to link those two for a Herodic Seal. Then we're going to activate Dragon Ravine to go discard the Flogos to send Darkest Diabolus. And then we're going to go and use King's effect to go and tribute those two to spell summon. So it's going to be Herodic Seal 1 and Darkest Diabolus 2. So spell summon, and then we're going to spell summon the Star Leash. Now we're going to go and activate Water Lily to go send the Queen to spell summon the Zora. Now we're going to use Darkest Diabolus effect to tribute the Zora, so our opponent has to put a card from their hand either at the top or the bottom of the deck. And then we're going to trigger the Zora, so our opponent has to draw and send a card. And we're going to do the same by adding and sending. So now it's going to trigger a King, so our opponent has to send a card from their hand. And now we're going to use Starlease to tribute the Darkest Diabolus and then get Chaos Lavinier. And now we're going to go and special summon Chaos Lavinier by banishing 3 darks. Trigger the effect to go and put 1 card from an opponent's hand back into the deck and then shuffle. So right off the bat, we just hand loop our opponent with 3. Now we're going to use Queen's effect to go and tribute the Starlies and the Lavineer. And then we're going to go and use Starly's effect to go and bring back the Chaos Lavineer. And you can still summon Lavineer as many times as you want, but you can only use Lavineer's effect once though. So we're going to respell summon, but this time we're going to banish the Lamia. And now we're going to trigger the Lamia to go and select our queen. And now our queen cannot be destroyed by card effects till the end of our opponent's turn. And there you have it. So we have one negate with Lance, which we're going to discard the king. So then we have a choice of either spell summoning the king, or we could actually spell summon the Overlord as well. And this is, we don't have to worry about Lightning Storm or anything because it's well protected with Lamia effect. So you know what? It's not really that bad. So the new Lamia card, I do like it because, you know, for a normal summon, at least we could get the Therion. But it's not really too mandatory. And even playing like online, I always saw like some situations that it was good if like we happen to not use any of our normal summons. But if we had, then it's not really too necessary to actually play this card. So it's very debatable completely, but I do like it. I think it's a pretty decent card, and especially for like 2 cards, if it's in your hand with 3 other cards, at least you're guaranteed to have like a similar extender. But with the additional cards in your hand, you can do probably a lot more. And that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, you know what to do. Like and subscribe. And if you want a sneak peek of future products we're planning to redo here on the channel, you could definitely follow me on my Instagram, VaughnGear. I'm Vaughn, and this was the Gear Channel.